Hi guys, yes you are looking at a Lexus. It's quite out there, isn't it? It's Lexus's new flagship coupe called the Lexus LC, and it's derived from the LC concept car from not that long ago. It still looks like a concept car too. In fact, just earlier this morning I was filling out petrol and the petrol attendant said, "Is that a concept car you're driving?" I had to explain to him that no, this is actually a production car you can buy today. But can you blame him? I mean, it's got these huge 21-inch alloy wheels, a very low profile cabin glasshouse area, and then this big long swooping bonnet. It's kind of like a modern interpretation of the LFA supercar, but in my opinion it looks heaps better. It's much better proportioned. I love the finer attention to detail too. So you've got these striking LED headlights with this LED tick that comes through, daytime running light there. You've got functional vents. These vents actually go through to something. And then you've got this traditional hourglass shape with the hips that pop out just at the back wheels. Even these vents, they do actually go through and come out just behind or just in front of the rear wheel there. It's all created to reduce turbulence and increase aerodynamic efficiency. And then around at the back is probably the best view in my opinion. It's got these, I don't even know how to describe them, but they're LED tail lights enclosed or encased in this sort of perspex, tinted bit of perspex. And then these are actually the indicators vertically mounted just there. Needless to say, I think it's the most beautiful Lexus ever made. It really does have the traits of a traditional sports car, but it's also very modern and crisp. So there are two variants you can get of this in Australia, the LC 500, which comes with a 5-litre naturally aspirated V8, taken from the GSF and the RCF, and in this version the LC 500H, and that H stands for hybrid. And I know what you're thinking, it's just a Toyota Camry hybrid underneath, but it's really not. It's the first Lexus with a lithium-ion battery for starters, which is mounted just behind the rear seats. This is 20% lighter than the equivalent nickel battery, such as that found in the LS 600H. Not only that, this is the first Lexus with a hybrid transmission. What does that mean? I'm not going to try and begin to understand how it works, but basically it's a conventional 4-speed automatic entwined with a 10-speed CVT. As far as I understand it, there's 4 forward gears, and then in between each of those gears are 3 artificial gears. It sounds complicated, but when you're out on the road, it actually supports both types of driving, whether you want economy, so you've got a gear for every single speed that you require, but also for sportiness. So you've got a ratio there ready to go and provide you with the maximum performance. So in front of that gearbox is a 3.5 litre V6 producing 220 kilowatts. It's the typical T2GR V6 engine. It's very smooth. There's nothing actually wrong with the engine, although I think it needs the new twin turbo that Lexus has just introduced as well. But it does provide that raspy sort of sportiness that a car like this deserves. We'll take it for a drive in a minute and I'll try and show you how the very complex but rewarding powertrain works. But for now, let's have a look at the interior. I'll just move it out of the sun so we can have a good look at it without the shadows coming across. Yeah, so like the exterior, it's a striking design in here. There's nothing boring about this cabin at all. So for me, the first thing that stands out is this windowed panel that goes across the middle here. It covers not only the LCD interface, but also the analog clock and this interesting trimming on the left. But every area is quite interesting, like from the drop-down glove box to little vents that are hidden just there. Also these grab handles that provide the passenger with a roller coaster like experience. It is pretty confined in here. I mean, it's a Grand Touring coupe, it's not a family sedan, but you can lower the seat quite low and it provides enough headroom. There's also a moonroof. It's not actually an opening sunroof due to the elegance of the body, I suppose, but it does provide you with a little bit more headroom if you need it. As usual with Lexus, everything feels very well put together. I love the buttons. You've got these little metallic-like buttons for the temperature control, and then this volume knob, which feels like it's got hydraulics involved in it. It's very smooth to operate. Even the drive mode select toggle up here, when you look at it you think, oh, that's just a cheap plastic switch, but when you actually twist it and rotate through the menus, it feels nice. It's got a sort of suspension involved in it, and it springs back. And then for the door trims, you've got this Alcantara trimming that comes through the middle with leather at the top. It's a beautiful interior, just like the exterior. I think it really stands out in the class and breaks out of the norm. It doesn't follow any traditions. Like, check out these door handles as well. They're just sort of floating out of the trim there. Very cool for Lexus. So there are back seats. I'll try and get into the one behind me, but as you'll find out, they're pretty small. So even me, I'm pretty short. My head doesn't quite fit under this roof. But I mean, if you've got kids, it's fine. Or if you're, you know, a bit of an emergency down to the pub or whatever, you can actually use these seats. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend buying this car thinking that it's a four-seater, put it that way. Let's go for a drive and see how it handles. So there are a number of different driving modes you can choose from, including a comfort and eco mode. But there's also customizable, so you can change the different settings in different areas of the car. And then there's 2 sport modes. So to start with, I'll just leave it in the normal mode. Even in normal mode, I think it is adaptable, because when you're out on the highway, I noticed that the engine revs are quite low and it's pretty efficient to drive. But then when you get out in the mountains, it feels a bit more aggressive. The engine revs build, or they stay a bit higher, ready for you to use the throttle. It goes nicely. It's very smooth power delivery. I'm not sure if it will hit the 5.0 second 0 to 100 time that Lexus claims, but it definitely won't be far off it, if it doesn't hit it, that is. It just doesn't quite feel that quick off the mark. But it's definitely, you know, you're not going to be looking for more performance if you're after a sort of grand touring luxury coupe. The electric motor makes it feel like it's got a turbocharger in some ways, in my opinion. Or a modern turbocharger anyway, because it's got that low down surge. So in between the gears, you can actually, or you can click up a gear and just use the torque, the low down torque, to pull you through. And then the naturally aspirated V6 engine comes in to provide the top end performance. Sorry about that sun, it's right in my face. It's probably in the camera's face too. But yeah, it goes very nicely indeed. I'll just switch it into Sport Plus. So straight away I can feel the throttle becoming a bit more urgent. You only need to push it a little bit to get performance. So just then it stepped through 3 artificial gears while it was still in, I think it felt like about 3rd gear out of the 4 gears that the conventional gearbox offers. But yeah, the performance is definitely respectable for this style of vehicle. But for me, the best part about this car is the handling and the steering. It's such a driver's car. You get a lot of feedback coming through the wheel, but it's also very well balanced. It feels like this chassis, it's a new chassis, it's called Lexus Global L for luxury. So it's also featured in the new LS sedan. But it feels like it can handle heaps more power. It feels like it can handle about 700 horsepower actually. It's that well set up. And that 2,000 kilos seems to disappear. When you start throwing it around the corners, it actually feels light and playful. Yeah, I love this steering. I don't know, I can feel so much going on. I can feel when the tail is going to kick, or I can feel if there's going to be any understeer. But it's really light and nice to turn as well. I think that's the best word to describe the way this car drives. It's so nice. It's very smooth when you put it into normal mode or comfort mode. But then when you're out in the winding roads, it's just your friend. It does what you want it to do. You can feel a lot of the chassis in your body too. Like the seat feels like it's directly bolted to the chassis. I know that sounds bad for your back, but you just get so much communication through it. And on that note, the suspension is very nice for this style of vehicle. This road is quite bumpy, and it's just soaking it up beautifully. But yeah, that steering and handling is just sublime. It really does handle very well. It's the best handling Lexus I've ever driven. So would I pick the 500h over the 500 with the V8? I think I would. I know that sounds bad. I'm a performance car enthusiast, but for this style of vehicle and for this vehicle's personality, I think the hybrid does actually pair better with the car. It feels modern and it's very advanced, just like the styling and some of the features in here. But mainly, it gives it a dual personality. So if you're just cruising around the city, you've got the hybrid, you've got the quietness, and you've got the economy. So this is chewing 8.3 litres per 100 kilometres, and I've been giving it some, and but yet it's still got good performance. If Lexus came out with a LCF, on the other hand, with a V10 engine, that might be a different story. I'd probably pick that. But for now, I think the 500h is the pick for this style of vehicle anyway. And on first impressions, it's excellent. I can't find any fault with this car. I think Lexus has done an excellent job at utilising its new platform, but also evolving its hybrid technology. It's a very interesting, very sexy looking car. I'll be putting together a full review on the website soon, including our usual 0 to 100 video. Stay tuned for that one. In the meantime, thanks for watching.